A lot of misinformation about drugs and stimulant medication for ADHD. And I just want you to know all the things, because when people decide not to take medications, that's fine. Obviously, what kind of person would I be if I was trying to talk you into it if you didn't want to? But I do want you to know the facts. This is so important. For a lot of people, it's a matter of life and death, because it can cause anxiety and depression. ADHD, all by itself. I'm just passionate about it, because when a medication can save your life, and if not that dramatic, then make your life how it was meant to be instead of the constant struggle. But people think that it's awful and scary and illegal and wrong and things like that. It's not okay, and I will get very fired up about it. Adderall, Concerta, Vyvanse. Been used for over 50 years. They're well understood and have effectiveness rates of about 80%, which is significantly more than any other medicine in psychiatry, more even than cardiovascular medicines. Effectiveness rate, I guess. The standard medical treatment is to effectively replace the missing dopamine. Adults with undiagnosed and untreated ADHD are the ones who are often exhausted, worn out, overwhelmed. Decades of untreated ADHD can make struggles with anxiety and depression completely understandable and common. Untreated adult ADD versus the general population include higher rates of car accidents, more speeding tickets, self-medicating. That's self-medicating without even knowing why you're doing it. So that's why this kind of drug, no matter what you hear, is under doctor's care, not scoring it somewhere in the streets, is safer because it's controlled and it's in and out of your system to help you feel more in control and have some hope that you can get things done, which alleviates the need for the drug and alcohol abuse in the first place. High divorce rates, more infidelity, more conflict with family members, more job loss, underemployment. All of these things are common manifestations of untreated adult ADHD, because we don't know we have it. So medication, stimulant medication, it levels the playing field. It brings low dopamine levels up to the similar level as a non-ADHD brain. It doesn't do more than that. It doesn't make someone high. It does not give someone the skills they need to stay organized. It allows an ADHD brain to reach the same expected levels of concentration, motivation, and impulse control as anyone else. If you are nearsighted, you use glasses to see. Stimulant medication similarly can be described as glasses for the brain. I love that. So although this sounds like I'm trying to talk you into it, I'm not. I want you to see what the truth is about it, because you're not going to probably hear it in the mainstream yet. Saved my life. All right. Struggling with the consequences of undiagnosed ADHD often leads adults to diagnoses of anxiety or depression. They're more often a result of living a lifetime with undiagnosed ADHD, which can be quite demoralizing. Properly treating ADHD, I sound like a broken record, can be life-changing because it often alleviates the emotions that were underpinning the anxiety and depression symptoms in the first place. This is so huge. For me, I'll cry. And I'm just now finding this stuff out now, the last couple of years. Medical professionals, that a majority of them, if they don't know for sure, they don't just say, I'm not sure. I don't think that I like the idea, but I'm not sure. They'll say, oh, you don't need those. And we hope. That's one of the things it does, because when it alleviates your symptoms a little bit and gets your brain to where that level that it's supposed to be in the first place, of course you feel better. You should go, I can do this. It makes all the difference. They increase the levels of neurotransmitters, dopamine, serotonin, and norepinephrine in the brain. Dopamine is directly linked to concentration, attention, and motivation, and the willingness to take on difficult tasks. That's what dopamine does for us. Norepinephrine plays an important role in daytime alertness. People with ADHD have a lot of cognitive energy to burn every day. Knowing how to manage that energy when we have it, it's an essential part of functioning well, taking care of ourselves. Having ADHD makes it harder to plan, manage time, direct our actions and responses, and make decisions about what to do next, and hard to control our emotions. It becomes critical then to learn how to do what we need to do to get where we need to go in life. Treating ADHD doesn't cure ADHD, but it's not a magic pill. It doesn't cure ADHD, and it doesn't magically help you do everything you needed to do. But it puts your brain at the levels it's supposed to be at. I have more notes, but of course I can't find them. This lady says, trying medication for my ADHD was a revelation. I saw what it was like to function with a clear mind, being in control of my thoughts rather than the other way around, not constantly feeling like I needed to get up and find something more interesting to do. Anyone? But on top of that, ADHD meds improved my anxiety, meant not being at the mercy of every anxious thought that crossed my mind. Being able to organize my thoughts, just for a little while at least, meant being able to focus on the things I wanted to focus on. So I doubt I'm the only one who's found that ADHD meds have the ability to improve 2 disorders with one pill. I would say 3 disorders. For me, again, not a doctor. The standard psychiatric advice cautions that stimulants can make anxiety worse and stops there. It makes anxiety worse in a neurotypical brain. If you have anxiety because of your ADHD in the first place, it makes the anxiety better, period. University of Michigan, whose symptoms of generalized anxiety disorder more or less entirely disappeared after starting ADHD medication. I was so conflicted about, like, I'm taking them every day, all through the day, and yet I feel like I probably shouldn't be, though. Okay, should is just, you get step on it, and I mean, burn the shoulds. And you start talking about, I shouldn't need it. It's such bull crap. It's what our brain wants to tell us, and society, and even doctors. Finally prescribed me some Adderall, which changed my life. For 7 hours, I can pay attention. I can put things back where they belong. I can start a task and complete it without getting distracted. Ask your ADHD doctor or a specialist. You'll be glad you did. Another one, don't lose hope. At 39, I finally found the doc who listened and diagnosed me as ADHD. Adderall saved my life. ADHD caused me severe depression, anxiety, and depression and anxiety. And docs love to focus on those 2 items and the underlying causes of ADHD. Doctors want to focus on it because it's more known. It's like, oh, we can diagnose this, and we have drugs for this. Okay, they might help, they might not. Then you look around and go, why can I not do like every other woman can do? I'm not doing this well. I'm not working well. I'm not cleaning well. I'm not cooking well. I'm not whatever. Because you feel like you're not getting anything all the way done that you want to. And if you're not taking, at least for me, when I wasn't taking Adderall, I was hopeless. I had to work myself. You are a good mother. You have friends. It's fine. But it's exhausting to do that all the time. It's so much more common than we think. And we just didn't know that it's connected. And it makes sense when you know what your brain is doing and the emotions that follow it. Produce our own dopamine. Our brain can produce it. It's not a matter of not being able to make it. It's a matter of regulating it. The amounts, like if there's none or if there's some, the brain doesn't keep them sort of steady. I'm not saying meds are for everyone, but not trying them because you think that they're an excuse or a crutch or something is not okay. You don't have to do that. I said, if you can't see well without glasses, nobody says you should try it without glasses. Just squint, just try harder. There is a deficit, and so you need to correct it, and that's all it does. But because it's an amphetamine and people buy it and sell it, I guess, to, people, and also shouldn't, for someone who's struggling with a mental disorder, be so hard to get that they are in tears every month trying to get it. I know medical insurance is hard. It's the high premiums and things, but a lot of them are cracking down saying you're not allowed to prescribe this stimulant medication, or you can only prescribe this much. But instead of saying I'm not allowed to because our clinic or whatever, they're just making you feel like you're a psycho or a drug seeker, which is not okay. It's destabilizing and it's dangerous. This one was like, I will not prescribe over 40 milligrams of Adderall a day. You're on too much of it. Before she even met me. And because I was so messed up about it, I was like, I am? Okay, I knew it. Which is bull. It's so, like, she didn't take into account my age, how long I'd been on them, that I was menopausal. All these things are factors, which she should know as a psychiatric nurse, just saying. But she was more like, this is the limit, this is the legal limit. It's not the legal limit. Not in any state, not in any country. When I had someone that I trusted tell me, it's okay to be on the dosage that you are on. This is the one that works for you. It's a tool. That's all it is. Used to manage the the condition you have. And I could have cried. I was like, that just like set me free. So I want that for everybody, if it works for them. The stimulant medications are just, they're in and out. They're there and they're in your brain and they leave your body. And that was a psychiatrist that told me that. And I was like, but what if I'm like dependent? He said, well, you are dependent on them. That's why you take them. Diabetics take insulin, have to have insulin. They are dependent on it. It's not a bad word. And I was like, okay, that helps. Thank you. Ask me questions you have about drugs. And if you want to do it privately, obviously do that. It's fine. I either know it because I've researched it like a freak, or may not know, and I will find out because I Google like it's my job all the time. So thank you for being here, and I will be back later.